National at this time. I am Dennis Adegundoye. The headlines. President Buhari condemns attacks in Ebonyi communities, and Anambra asks security operatives to ensure perpetrators face justice. Nigerian Air Force confirms crash of 475 Alpha jet, describes as propaganda video of Boko Haram claiming to have shot it down. And Minister of Transportation calls for review of highway codes and laws, advocates stiffer penalties for offenders. And we begin with legislative matters, as the Speaker House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, and the new Speaker of the Ghanaian Parliament, Albert Bagbin, have agreed to strengthen parliamentary relations in a bid to find lasting solutions to challenges such as the trade dispute involving some Nigerian traders in Ghana. The two speakers reached out to each other during a Zoom meeting they held at the weekend. Gbajabiamila told his counterpart that the two countries were like siblings and should continue to explore the avenue of parliamentary diplomacy in addressing shared challenges, adding that there was much both could learn from each other. The Nigerian speaker also explained a project he initiated with 5 other African speakers, including the Conference of Speakers of African Parliaments, which advocated for debt relief, and that this year African speakers and heads of parliaments were expected to gather in Abuja to explore how they could work better together to tackle collective challenges. While congratulating the Ghanaian speaker for his success at the recently contested polls, Gbajabiamila said he looked forward to working closely with him. 7 people die from unusual blood clots after getting Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Details with Obiageli Ugwoke.
Italy has entered a strict 3-day lockdown to try to prevent a surge in COVID-19 cases over Easter. All regions are now in the red zone, the highest tier of restrictions as the country battles a third wave with about 20,000 new cases daily. Italy's restrictions came as countries across Europe tried to control the surge in cases of the virus while struggling with a delayed vaccine rollout. More than 110,328 people have died of coronavirus in Italy, and a total of 3.6 million infections confirmed. In a related development, 7 people have died from unusual blood clots after getting the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine in the UK. The medicines regulator has confirmed that a total of 30 people out of 18 million vaccinated in March had these clots, though it is still not clear if they are just a coincidence or a genuine side effect of the vaccine. The Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency says the benefits continue to outweigh any risk. The World Health Organization, on the other hand, and the European Medicine Agency have echoed this conclusion. However, concern has led to other countries, including Germany, France, the Netherlands, and Canada, to restrict the vaccine's use only to older people. The global fatalities from coronavirus has passed 2.8 million out of more than 131.104 million confirmed cases, and Nigeria's total infections figure now stands at 163,063 after recording 66 new cases Friday. In other news, the United States has lifted sanctions on the International Criminal Court ICC top prosecutor Fatou Bensouda. The sanctions were imposed on the former president Donald Trump over the court's investigations into alleged war crimes by the U.S. in Afghanistan and U.S. ally Israel in the Palestinian territories. Announcing the move, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the sanctions were inappropriate and ineffective and called for closer cooperation. That's the global update. Thank you for your time. I'm Obiageli Ugwoke.
Thank you, Obiageli. Let's stay with security matters, and the Nigerian Air Force has refuted claims about what it calls a propaganda video of Boko Haram claiming to have shot down the now confirmed crashed NAF 475 Alpha jet. In a press release issued in the early hours of Saturday, April 3rd, 2021 by the Nigerian Air Force Directorate of Public Relations and Information, one of such videos allegedly released by the sect began with sporadic shooting by several terrorists and later skipped abruptly to a scene depicting an aircraft exploding mid-air, supposedly as a result of enemy action. The statement said it is almost impossible for an aircraft to have exploded mid-air in the manner depicted in the video and still have a good part of its fuselage, including its tail, intact. Indeed, an explosive impact of that nature would have scattered the debris of the aircraft across several miles. The Nigerian Air Force advises Nigerians to ignore the contents of the videos making the rounds on social media until all investigations as to how the aircraft crashed are completed. The Nigerian Air Force, on its part, remains resolute and will continue to work in synergy with sister services and other security agencies to rid the northeast of all terrorist elements. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari strongly condemns the dastardly attack on Monday night in 3 communities in Ishelu local government area of Ebonyi State. The president has directed law enforcement agencies to fish out the attackers and ensure that the perpetrators of this heinous attack are brought to justice. The president extends his deepest sympathies to families and friends who have lost loved ones and to every member of the communities in Ebonyi State traumatized by these despicable acts of wickedness. The statements by the senior special assistant to the president, Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, said the president also sympathizes with the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and a member of the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, who survived an attack by gunmen in Aguata local government area of Anambra State. Expressing concern at the influx of illegal weapons, President Buhari reassures Nigerians that the ongoing efforts, which had led to the record recovery of illegal weapons and arrests of a large number of arms suppliers, would be intensified. The president also prayed for the families of the security operatives who lost their loved ones and those who lost their lives trying to defend innocent citizens assembled for a peaceful meeting, adding that governments will continue to empower the police and the armed forces in their brave struggle against terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping in the country. Now, goods worth millions of naira were early Saturday morning consumed by fire at the tire section of the Agodi market in Ibadan, the Oyo state capital. Shola Wahid brings us details.
The fire incident, which destroyed over 300 shops, started at about 11 p.m. last night and was still ravaging till early morning when NTA crew was at the scene. Shop owners and sympathizers were seen salvaging goods and property at the scene, while firefighters were equally around trying to put out the fire. Some shop owners and people that lost property to the fire incident responded.
The fire started at about 10:30 and 11 p.m. yesterday. We called the firefighters, but because of the road accessibility, the fire escalated further. Almost all the shops were destroyed.
If I reduce the money, is about 10 million to 6 million.
They are of the view that had the road to the spare part market was motorable, fire trucks would have been able to put the fire off on time. They also called on state and federal government for assistance. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
Now, the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest television network, has continued to maintain its dominance in the continent's broadcast industry as President of the Senate, Albert Lawan, inaugurates NTA Gashua Station. Yunusa Suleiman reports that the Senate President pledged to facilitate the procurement of 2 utility vehicles and an OB van for effective service delivery to the benefiting communities. We will bring you details of this in our subsequent bulletins. Now, prominent Nigerians have joined President Muhammadu Buhari in presenting messages of goodwill that inspire new hope, peace and prosperity in Nigeria. The president reminds Christian faithful that Easter is an opportunity to renew hope and faith, show love and appreciation to one another and not despair, no matter the challenges of the period. He assured Nigerians that the government will continue to ensure that the weak, the poor and the underprivileged are not abandoned. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, urges Nigerians to use the occasion of Easter to preach religious tolerance, love for neighbors, and commitments to civic responsibilities, while the chairman of the APC, Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Governor Mai Malabuni, urges Nigerians to live in peace, harmony, love, and unity as Christian faithful celebrate Easter. Similarly, Governor Gboyega Oyetola of Osun State admonishes Christians and all Nigerians to emulate the virtues of love, sacrifice, perseverance, and humility as demonstrated by Jesus Christ. Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu has also felicitated with Christians, assuring Nigerians of round-the-clock security during the Easter celebrations. State Commissioners of Police and their supervising AIGs have been ordered to ensure adequate deployment of personnel for this purpose. Corps Marshal FRSC Boboye Oyeyemi, in his own message, asks Nigerians to be safety conscious and obey traffic rules and regulations for a crash-free Easter. And the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has urged Nigerians, especially Christians, to use this period of Easter and pray for the country. In a statement from his Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Lanre Lasisi, Gbajabiamila said despite the challenges facing the country, there will be light at the end of the tunnel, and therefore the need for prayers always. The Speaker called for unity of purpose among Nigerians, saying there is more that unites us as a people than that which divides us. He said Nigeria is a great country with good people who have great potential, adding that if well harnessed, the nation and the citizens would be better for it. He specifically called on Christians to imbibe the virtues of Jesus Christ, whom he described as a role model to the world. Gbajabiamila said that life and times of Jesus Christ are a perfect example of selflessness, care, affection, compassion, and service to humanity, calling on Nigerians to emulate same. Emulating the exemplary life of Jesus Christ for nation building at this period of Easter has been advocated as Nigeria grapples with insecurity, corruption, and other challenges. Ijeoma Ugweke reports.
Celebrating the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ is an annual ritual by Christians across the globe. The period reminds believers of the remarkable life of commitment to love, truth, justice, humility, compassion, purity, peace, and tolerance.
Go through the 40 days of fasting and prayers and almsgiving and trying to bring ourselves to have the heart of our Father, merciful like the Father.
For our redemption, we are redeemed from evil. We are redeemed from Satan oppression. And one of the attributes is hate and revenge. But we have received a love life from him who has ransomed himself for us.
Amid vibrant display of religiosity in the country, there are heightened concerns on the spate of crimes and criminality.
Are we really committed to this our Christian faith and calling? My answer is no. Look at the level of insecurity. If you look at chapter 5 of the Quran, it says also that you should not levy war against your society. So both faith condemns such things. I will also urge that there should be more ethical teaching.
Easter challenges all Nigerians to imbibe the virtue of sacrifice as imperative tool for nation building. In Port Harcourt, Ijeoma Ugweke, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. Do stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Live more.
It's good to have you back. Now towards ensuring inclusive, accessible and sustainable post-COVID-19 world where the physically challenged contribute to a sustainable development of the nation, Akwa Ibom State Government has celebrated 2020 International Day of Disabilities, empowering impaired persons with facilities worth over 1 million naira. And Mediong Umar reports that the physically challenged advocated social protection policies.
Despite the talent imbibed in people with disabilities, the physically challenged persons have always been faced with stigmatization in the society, as a lot of them do not have access to essential services they deserve due to their impairment. To ensure that persons with disabilities actively contribute to the development of the society, the Akwa Ibom State Government empowers physically challenged persons with facilities to boost their skills in various chosen fields. These, the people express joy over the government's gesture.